Hola, hola. Let's learn about los sustantivos y los artículos, Spanish nouns and articles. So we are going to learn about the word for the and the words for a, an, one, or some, and how to match them up with the nouns. So a noun, just as a review, is a person, place, or thing, sometimes an idea. Now all nouns in Spanish are either masculine or feminine. We don't have that in English. In English, nouns are neutral. Basically, a table is an it. But in Spanish, a table is feminine. Now remember, it's a different language, and you should be thinking in terms of ideas and not word-to-word translation. Just keep in mind, just know that in Spanish, everything has a gender. So if it's a masculine noun, if it's going to end in an O, or most consonants, or an OS if we make it plural. For example, libro is masculine because it ends in an O. Libros is still masculine even though we added an S on it to make it plural. Lápiz for pencil ends in a Z, which is a consonant, so this means it's masculine. And autobús ends in an S, and it means bus. If I wanted to make this word plural, I would add an ES, and it would say autobuses. Now it's a feminine noun if it ends in a DNA or an AS. I like to tell my students, you can remember this. A good memory aid is to think DNA has curves and DNA is feminine. So some examples, comunidad for community ends in a D, lección for lesson ends in an N, escuela for school ends in an A. And if we have schools, we're going to put that S on it to make it plural, but we really look at the letter that's behind it. And that is an A, which means it's feminine. All right, it's time to draw. After I give the instructions, pause the video for as long as you need to make your own drawing. You're going to put an O in the masculino box and an A in the femenina box. And I want you to do your best and turn the O into a masculine letter, turn the A into a feminine letter. Go ahead and pause here. All right, practiquemos. We are going to practice. Take a second after I give the instructions, pause the video, and then write down an M or an F, an MA or an FA, if the word is masculino or femenina. Pause here. Okay, did you get masculino for papel? Right, it ends in a consonant. Comunidad is femenina because it ends in a D. Color is masculino because it ends in a consonant that's not a D or an N. Nación, femenina, DNA. Maleta ends in an A, so it is femenina. And chico ends in an M because it is masculino. So the O's and the A's are pretty easy to figure out. There are exceptions, of course. So now, how would we say the word the in front of our nouns? We know they're feminine or masculine. So what about the word for the, or the fancy name, the grammar name is definite articles. We have 4 in Spanish: el, la, los, and las. So this is singular for a masculine noun. This is singular for a feminine noun. This is plural for a masculine noun, and this is plural for a feminine noun. And all of these mean the. So for example, I'll pause here so you have time to write on your paper. You're going to use el before a singular masculine noun, el gato. You're going to use la before a singular feminine noun, like la puerta. Use los before a plural masculine noun, los gatos, the cats. And then plural feminine, of course, would be las puertas. More practiquemos. Choose a definite article, the word for the, to match the noun. Now you're going to have to decide on 2 things here. Is it masculine or feminine? And is it plural or singular? So pause here while you write down your answers. Did you get el papel? Los hermanos? La profesora? Oh, let's pause here on number 4, la estudiante. A lot of my students will get to this E and say, what do I do with the E? You just told me rules about consonants and A's and O's, but what's an E? Words that end in E, you have to just memorize what it is. But if it's a living thing, estudiante is a living thing. It's a student, right? Students are alive. Then it can be both el estudiante and la estudiante. I have boy students and I have girl students. So it is el and la. Now diario, not a living thing, ends in an O. So you would have gotten el diario. And the last one, not a living thing, plural because it ends in an S, las puertas. And like I said before, how there are exceptions. These are the most common exceptions. So you'll notice mapa ends in an A, right? It should be feminine, but it's not. It is el mapa. Photo ends in an O. Oh, masculine, I know. It's not. It's la foto, and of course, el dia. And the one that I always giggle a little when my students get wrong, mujer, of course, ends in a consonant that it's not a D or an N, and so they think masculine. But mujer means woman, so you need to have la mujer. In quick review, so why do some of them show both options? Like I had el la estudiante. Here's el la joven. Joven means young person. Well, if you remember, a young person is alive, just like students are, and you can have both male and female young persons. So that is why it's el and la. Other examples where you'll find this: estudiante for student, turista for tourist, and conductor or conductora for driver. Okay, those were definite articles. Now we are moving on to the indefinite articles. A little rhyme there to help. Indefinite articles, they are such fun. Un and una mean a or one. Unos and unas both mean some. So what are the indefinite articles? Well, like our rhyme just showed you, un, una, unos, unas. So un and una mean a or one. So, and unos and unas mean some, generally. Let's see some examples. So you can see here, you're going to use un before a singular masculine noun. Un libro would be a book or one book. Singular masculine is un. Una, let's see. So una would be feminine and singular. So it would be una computadora. So one computer or a computer. It means the same thing. Unos, let's look here. We got plural. We got masculine. Unos libros, some books. And the last one, unas. So we look here. Feminine, plural. We have unas computadoras, some computers. We have one computer, we have some computers. So again, based on the rules you just wrote down, choose an indefinite article to match the noun. Indefinite, un, una, unos, or unas. Pause here. Did you get un lápiz? Una computadora? Un padre? Unos or unas profesores. Remember, a professor is somebody who's alive, and you can have both male and female teachers or professors. Perro, un perro. Now, yes, the dog is alive, and you can have both masculine and feminine dogs, but this ends in an O right here. So that tells me the dog is masculine, and I need to use un. Otherwise, I would make this an A. Perra, and that would be una. Mesas, unas mesas. All right. Now, how to make nouns plural? If a word ends in a vowel, we add an S. El libro, los libros. Very similar to what we do in English. If it ends in a consonant, we add an ES. El papel turns into los papeles. And now, if you're ready for this, this is an exception. It's kind of a hard rule for English speakers. So if you're not ready for this, just stick with this one. We got an S after a vowel, an ES after a consonant. Now, if a word ends in a Z, you change the Z to a C and add an ES. So el lápiz for pencil becomes los Lápices for pencils. Practiquemos again. Based on the rules, make the following words plural. I will pause the video until you're ready to see the answers. All right, let's see. Did you get los lápices? And again, don't worry if you spelled this one wrong. It's kind of, it's just a hard rule to remember. Las comunidades. Remember, it's a consonant, so we add an ES. Ends in a D. That's DNA's feminine. Remember our curves here. Las mujeres. Now again, mujer doesn't end in a D or an A, but it means woman. So it needs to be las mujeres. Las palabras. Los jóvenes. And actually here, you could also have las. So you could have los or las jóvenes. And los diarios. Okay. So remember talking about the exceptions. You remember what they were. These are the ones you'll usually see in a textbook and on a quiz. So we have el mapa for map, la foto for photo. This one's kind of easy because the actual word is fotografía, ends in an A. El día for day, la mano for hand, and el programa for program. That was it. Hope you found that helpful. Adios.